Today I will cover a game between Hou Yifan and Wesley So. This is a game from Goldmoney Asian Rapid 2021 Day 3. This game was played yesterday. And these are the top 16 players of this tournament, including Magnus Carlsen, Ding Liren, Levon Aronian, Anish Giri, Wesley So, Alireza Firoza, Daniel Dubov, Hou Yifan, Adivan. So let's check out this game. So Yifan with the white pieces opened with e4 and we have e5 by Wesley. Knight to f3, knight to c6 and now bishop to b5. So Yifan goes for the Ryle office. Knight to f6 and Wesley goes for the Berlin defense. We have castles by white and now knight captures on e4. So this is a standard move in Berlin defense. We have rook to e1, just attacking the knight. Knight to d6 and now knight captures on e5. In my previous video I have already told you can capture this bishop, because if you capture this then knight captures and there is a discovered attack from the there is a discovered check from the rook and you will lose your queen. So that is the point. So after this capture Wesley played bishop to e7 and now we have bishop to f1 by Yifan, and now we have knight captures on e5, rook captures and now castles by black. We have d4 now and now we have bishop to f6, just attacking the rook, and we have rook to e1 and now we have rook to e8, and here black will surely capture this rook, and after you capture with the queen then he can capture this pawn. So you have to play c3. So after c3 Wesley just captures the rook, we have queen captures and now we have knight to e8, knight to d2 and now d5 by Wesley. In this position the most played move is knight to b3, then later on you can go to c5, but in this game Yifan played knight to f3. Now we have g6, so Wesley just preparing knight to g7. Now we have bishop to d3 and now knight to g7. We have h3 now, not allowing any bishop to g4 idea, and now we have c6. We have bishop to f4 and now bishop to f5. We have bishop captures on f5 and now knight captures on f5. We have queen to e2 and now we have knight to g7. Knight to g7 because white will simply push g4. So that is why Wesley played knight to g7 and we have rook to e1. We have queen to a5 now, just attacking the pawn, and now we have a3, just defending, and now rook to e8. Now there is an attack on the queen. We have bishop to e5 and now we have bishop captures. In this position you have to be very careful. You have to capture the bishop with this pawn, because if you capture with the knight, then just f6 wins the game for black, because this knight can't move, because if you move the knight then you will lose your queen and you will lose your knight. So that is the point. So after this bishop captures, we have d captures on e5 by Yifan, and now we have knight to e6. We have queen to d2, so Yifan is preparing knight to g5. Now we have rook to d8 and now knight to g5. We have knight captures, queen captures and now rook to e8. We have rook to e3 by Yifan and now queen to d8. So just offering a queen trade. We have h4 now and now h5 by Wesley. We have queen to f4 and now c5. So Wesley will definitely play d4. We have rook to d3 and now queen to d7. We have queen to g5 now and now d4. We have c captures on d4, c captures on d4 and now queen to f6. We have queen to d5 by Wesley and now queen to f4 by Yifan. We have queen captures on e5. Here Yifan just trades queen. We have rook captures and now rook captures on d4. We have rook to e1 with check, king to h2 and now rook to e2. So just attacking the pawn, and there is, we try to defend that one, then you can face f6 and then g5 is possible. So we have rook to b4 by Yifan and now rook captures on f2. We have rook captures on b7 and now a5. We have b4 now, a captures on b4, rook captures on b4 and now king to g7. We have a4 now. It seems white is winning because white has a very strong fast pawn, but engine says this position is actually draw position, and you can't really push this pawn, and it is very hard to push this pawn against a man like Wesley. We have rook to a2 and now king to g3. We have f6 now, and now rook to b7 with check, and now king to h6. We have rook to b4 now, and now rook to a3 with check, king to f2, rook to a2 with check, king to g3, rook to a3 with check, king to f2, and they just repeated moves, and the game ended in a draw by threefold repetition. And white does have a fast pawn, but it is very hard to push this pawn, so that is why they just repeated moves and the game ended in a draw. So that was the game. I hope you enjoyed that one, and let's see what happens in the knockout stage of this tournament. So that was the game. I hope you enjoyed that one. So stay tuned for more updates, and thank you for watching.